Spring of 2025. At the produce market on the east side of the river, I spotted this thing. Kawasaki is written across the fuel tank. Most importantly, its throttle bodies are huge. The tail sits kicked up high. And the tires look like track spec rubber. But the front suspension was snapped clean off. I managed to pry it upright, then used a forklift to load it and bring it back. I just weighed it. A total of 279 gin, approximately 140 kilograms. Given those massive throttle bodies and the track-only tires, I don't think we'll lose money on this one. Fix it and sell it to your classmate. We'll clear well over 10 grand. Looks like it's been parked a long time. See these tires? They're cracked all over. Even the rear fender and panels are jammed and bent. But from the engine's exterior, it doesn't look damaged. At least there's no oil leak. All four exhaust headers are snapped like iron rods. I suspect there's a catalytic converter in here. Even the nice front forks were cut clean through. In its current state, it's worse than that 750 we brought back. Anyway, put your gloves on. Let's get to work. Such good forks. And someone chopped them in half. And look at the handlebar. It's bent into an X. But none of that matters. As long as the engine can still run. If it runs, this buy was worth it. So let's find a way to get the engine to fire. I pulled off the smashed fairings and exposed the side frame. It actually looks straight, but we're missing a key. No problem. I can still bypass it. If that fails, we'll pull the ignition switch and jump it below. Hotwire and go. If you ever lose your car keys, call me. I'll rescue you. Now let's hook up a battery and power it on. Honestly, of all the bikes I've worked on, this is the only one that cranked the moment it got power. Let's sort the fuel system next. Here's the fuel tank. No idea which genius did this, but there's a huge hole. It's beyond repair. The fuel pump might still work. It looks filthy outside, but it's plastic inside, so no heavy rust. I have several bikes. We can borrow a tank from one of these two on the floor. To test start it, I picked this Suzuki tank. Using my small pot stir-fry selection method, connectors don't match, so we'll hotwire it. Let's just get it to start first. Now we have fuel and power. Time for a start attempt. Wish me luck. No way there's fuel and power. It should be running. Unless it has no compression. If there's truly no compression, we've bought a money pit. I pulled the spark plugs and hooked up a gauge. Two tests showed a little over 7 bars. So that's not it. We've got fuel and compression. I checked the electrics, pulled a plug, and sure enough, no spark. So the issue is in the wiring, but wait. I checked the brake switch, clutch switch sensor, and fuses. I even suspected the ECU might be damaged. When I went to turn off the key and pull the ECU, I noticed a red light that stayed on. I popped off the gauge cluster, and underneath there was a little key symbol. Then it hit me. Does this thing have an immobilizer chip? It needs a chip key to unlock. A plain key won't work. Looks like we'll need to crack it with the mod toolkit. I used 0.6 sheets of wrap material to craft a small transponder gizmo. Since I don't have the original key, I pulled the ECU asked around a ton, and finally found a way to solve the chip problem. Now the system detects the chip. If it fires right up, this would be the quickest start of all my basket case bikes. Wish me luck. The oil filter blew out and leaked in just a moment. Look how much poured out. No big deal. I'll replace it. Between us. Right then, I naively thought it was just a bad oil filter. Swap it, and we're fine. But after that tiny startup, the engine spat out nearly a liter of oil. I've already ordered more oil. Once I'm sure the engine's okay, we'll change it again. Now I'm going to try another start. Wish me luck. How is the crankcase also smashed? This bike is really rough. The oil I just added, I bet it leaked again. On this engine cover, you can see the internals are intact. But down here there's a big hole. I only started it twice. Not even 6 seconds total, and it flung oil everywhere. This bike just won't give me a break. I've got a feeling there's a story behind it. I TIG welded the cracked cover, then ground it flat with an angle grinder. Applied sealant. And reinstalled it. Hopefully this time it behaves itself. I also poured in a second jug of oil. Now, I still don't know the engine's true condition, but I've already gone through 2 jugs of oil. I just stopped the oil leak. And suddenly gasoline started spraying, no idea from where. I'm certain now, this bike has a past. Even when I bought it I felt something was off. I wanted to do a pressure test right away, but after fiddling around, I forgot. Right now it's really one thing after another. The fuel leak is here at an injector. When I unplugged it, fuel splashed on my hand. Working non-stop. Now the engine isn't leaking oil or coolant. We can start bringing in the other parts. First to arrive, the main fairing headlight. This is a used exhaust system with a catalytic converter here. These used front forks, they cost me a fortune, super expensive. Here's a claimed original fuel tank. The seller swore it was OEM paint, but that orange doesn't suit this bike. Anyway, we're almost there with parts. Now we can dry ice blast the underside thoroughly. They sell it here for $6 a kilo. I bought 30 kilos. Here's the frame after dry ice treatment. The result is fantastic. As of now, it feels like we got a great deal. I also planned to strip that original paint tank with a stripper. But then I realized the cellar was full of it. Turns out this tank has 7 or 8 layers of paint, each a different color. After sanding it down to this state, its original color shows through. And clearly this tank has a history with sloppy repairs. So now, I can only cut open the tank bottom and dig out the filler to fix it properly. After a big session, I finally rescued the tank. If there are tiny pinholes left, let's pretend not to see them. Then I used a handheld laser welder to weld the bottom back. Next comes my usual paint process. Epoxy primer for rust protection, a thin layer of filler primer to level it. Then a mid-coat to unify the tone. And finally, your favorite green. Add a 1:1 replica decal. Spray clear coat. And bake it in the booth. And then we've got a glossy, crystal clear tank. Looks great. With that, the parts are basically ready. Let's assemble the bike. For the front axle, you need a special tool. I don't have one, but I'm crafty. I welded 2 bolts together as a perfect substitute. Genius, right? The rear tire is a heat cycle track tire. Back in the day, it probably cost well over $1,000. Now it's toast. I'll replace it. Mirrors installed. The restoration is complete. Its weight is definitely more than the 279 Jin from when I bought it, but even if you offered 7 yuan per kilo again, I still wouldn't sell. Because now it starts perfectly. The big guy is fully refurbished. Time for a test ride, but with my scruffy beard. I don't match this clean bike. I need a refresh too. Let me show you my reefer partner. This Kawasaki 1000. That costs 7 yuan a kilo and weighed over 279 jin. Its legendary power can only be described as explosive. To be honest, you still need a proper set of torques, Allen tools, to keep it right. Thanks for your help.